So I have another Gundam figure, and this is a figure that I got like a month ago, and I've been just sitting on making this video, and I don't know why I kept delaying it. The first thing I wanted to do was finish the anime. It was like 5 episodes on Netflix. I don't think it was highly regarded. It's CGI. The CGI is good enough. I think it came out maybe this year or last year. Is good enough that at first I wasn't sure that it wasn't live action, but it's not live action. The characters on it, the people are definitely, you could tell they're CGIs. Some of the backgrounds are quite spectacular. But it's a very kind of small scale movie in that the heroes are basically being menaced. They're in the midst of a war on a planet. Maybe it's planet Earth, I'm not sure. And they are being menaced by this Gundam figure. And usually the Gundams are the heroes, but in this case, and it may not be necessarily that the Gundam is a villain. It's just what happens when these Gundams are trying to destroy your forces, even if you're not necessarily on the right side. All of the characters seem to be, or generally most of them, good people swept up in the war. But it's kind of, you don't really get any knowledge about the pilot until, I believe, the last episode. So it's just this massive Gundam threatening them, and they have their own robots, but this Gundam is incredibly powerful. So they're really no match for it. This is not actually a metal build figure. This is a Chogokin. It's called Chogokin Gundam EX from the anime Requiem for Vengeance. So there are other, but it's priced like a metal build. This was probably around $300, maybe more. And so let's weigh him real quick, because it is a dense figure. So we have 12.5 ounces. Okay, so it's fairly heavy. There's quite a bit of metal in there, and it's got a low center of gravity, a lot of weight down here. So we'll start going through the various features. First of all, the hands on here, I don't love them. There are other hands. This, I guess, is a gripping hand. I've seen other figures like this where it's like rubbery, and you're expected, I guess, with a gun or something to just wedge it in there. And I don't like that, because I feel like you could like damage the soft plastic in there. So I don't love that kind of hand. So we'll go through the various features. He does not have his backpack on because the light up feature switch is back here. So we'll turn that on. Okay, so that's the light up features. Kind of subtle, but effective. And I will put on his backpack and stuff then. I'll have to take it off again later. To turn off his light up features. I'm not sure if this is, I think this is, there we go. All right, so you have to attach the gun. You have to attach this thing. He's got his various weapons that he uses in the anime. These will come off, and they're sort of like lightsabers. So what you can do is, I don't have all the other hands are in a box that I don't have here. So this is kind of an energy weapon, or like a energy sword that he would use. Okay, and that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll pose him with, I don't think this is the hand that you use to grip this, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because it's not that great. So this is his shield. This will go on here, and I did not find this. Okay, so you're supposed to kind of put it in there, but again, you're supposed to, I guess, wedge this in here and then clip that on. And I just didn't want to, because I don't even know how you do it. I guess you pull the thumb and then squeeze it in here. I didn't want to do that, so I opted not to go for that. The joints are all, they're stiff, kind of like metal, which is, that's fine. Who doesn't like lots of metal? Seems to be all metal in here. Definitely a lot of metal down low to keep the center of gravity low. But yeah, a lot of metal, a lot of moving parts. I don't know how many points of articulation on here, but quite a few. We'll get in here close and take a look at him. You have this, which kind of, it's supposed to represent like the bullets, and you put it in here, and then yeah, okay, clip it in here, and then here. So yeah, there you go. And he's got several guns. Got this one with kind of a laser scope on it. This will move around. And then you have the larger gun. I'll look at the instructions and remind myself, because like I said, it's been about a month that I've had this figure, and I'm forgetting what a lot of this stuff does. This gun will attach on the back here, so he can hold it like that. Okay. So here are the instructions to it. Chogokin Gundam EX. And we see all of the different pieces and the light up feature and how you remove the backpack. And showing the various articulation and the points of concern on there. So let's see, the gun here. So this swivels. Yeah, I put his gun away. And it shows how it attaches on the back there. Oh, and then you can take this gun. I guess if you remove this one, and then you can put this larger gun up on his shoulder and use that. And you can, yeah, down here, so you can actually have the big gun held onto his little thing there on his waist, his butt. And showing how to attach his shield, which was a pain in the butt, so I opted not to do it. And then we have the stand. Doesn't really need a stand because this guy stands really well. Has no problem standing. You'd have to really give it a... If it was on a table, that table would have to have a nice jolt for him to fall over, because... it is possible for him to fall over. The box is decent size. It's not small. Unfortunately, the way I have my camera set up, hard to show. Sideways. They slapped a gigantic warning on here, so I guess they're really concerned about the batteries right there on the front of the box. So yeah, I don't know if they did that with all the boxes or some of the boxes or what. But it is in English though, so I guess they knew that this was getting sent to a English-speaking... Yeah, I can't really show the box because of my fixed camera. But it's a decent box. I just wish... I don't know. I do appreciate when companies make their boxes as small as possible. And they would do themselves a favor in doing that, because a collector like myself runs out of space with all these boxes. And of course, no collector of these high-end figures would throw out the boxes. So it's got some, of course, really nice articulation from Bandai. Metal or very solid figure. Yeah, metal, a lot of metal. That's why the thing has a very good weight to it. Quite a bit of weight. But overall, I think it's a nice figure. Not my favorite Gundam. Definitely not. And not my favorite anime. Also, that's true. But I think it's got a lot of nice features. And definitely a lovely reproduction of the anime version. And look at the detailing in there. The detailing is just amazing. And it has a really nice feel to it. Feels high quality. Feels lovely. It's, for someone who's just watching this on video, you can't really tell how the figure feels, because you could have a figure that looks very similar to this but feels cheap. This does not feel cheap. This feels like quality. So anyway, that is the Chogokin Gundam EX from Requiem for Vengeance, which, as far as I know, is still available on Netflix.